The star of Blood Rain, Kristanna Loken, will sit down, chat, and hopefully not have to decapitate anyone. Plus, we'll show your girlfriend some of the things she'll be mad at you for buying straight from the Consumer Electronics Show. And writer-director Eli Roth will show us something about hostels that's even scarier than communal showers. And now, put on your lobster bibs, kids. It's Attack of the Show!
Pick up on this.
Come here. Come. Hey, get over here. Welcome, everybody, to Attack of the Show. Happy New Year, Brendan.
Happy New Year, Kevin.
Fresh off the couch and ready for the big show.
Am I here today?
You are. Believe me, I protested all day long. My throat got sore.
I'm not prepared to do this.
Neither am I. Neither am I. But we have a wonderful show today. It's the first show back for 2006, so hello, everyone. I know you're happy to be here. We're really not, but we're going to get through this together. We got a LAN party today. We've got a lot of good stuff.
Yes.
Whole bunch of stuff to talk about.
It's been a 2.5-week build-up to this moment right now.
Well, let's get it started.
Okay. Did you watch the game last night, Kevin?
Of course I did. Of course I did. And the only reason I watched it because it wasn't high def. But it turned out to be an amazing game. I did enjoy the football action.
It's the Rose Bowl.
On the gridiron.
Hook 'em horns.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the Trojans went down.
Yes.
So I'm now a Lifestyles man.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm Durex.
It is good.
Ribbed.
For her pleasure.
You've read the labels.
I have, several times.
Yes.
Yeah.
The big news today, Kevin, ESPN and ABC letting you download highlights of the game. If you don't have time to watch the whole thing,
Which you don't.
you go on iTunes, you can watch 15 minutes worth of the game.
This is very cool. They were talking about at the very beginning of the game. They held up the video iPod and said, look, guys, check this out. It was old guys who looked confused as to the technology that was even in their hands, but they still read the prompter and got through it. They said, you can go online and download these and watch this.
Big ex-football player in a suit
Exactly.
and an iPod.
My kid got one of these. Download or something. Yeah. It's good. And it works. I really like that they're doing that. The picture quality is not that shabby.
It's cheap, $1.99.
Which isn't bad for 15 minutes of highlights, which really is what the game boils down to anyways. It's those few key plays, and there you have it.
You don't want to sit through the whole thing.
No, not at all. And we downloaded it. We wanted to check it out. We loaded some onto our video iPod, so we have the highlights, of course. And again, not bad pricing scheme. $2 for a series, or you can get the entire thing for $8.
This is a good play. I remember this last night. Watch this kid's arm.
Watch it.
Well, he just nails it.
It looks like he overthrew it. It looks like he overthrew it to me, Brendan. That's catchable. No, you don't blow up at a teammate like that. That was far too hard to throw the ball.
I remember.
That was far too hard.
You know what? A lot of nerves in the last night's game.
Apparently.
This is also catchable. This actually was the end of the third quarter,
I think that BMW caught it with its hood. Good game, good highlights.
Yeah.
Again, $2, or you can get all the bowls. You can get what, 4 different episodes for $8, which isn't bad at all.
Episodes.
$7.96. 4 different games,
Sugar
quarters,
Bowl.
periods. What are they? I don't care. Let's move on.
Stop, Kevin.
We're done with the football. Let's go to a real man sport. Of course, I'm talking about trailers for movies.
Yes.
Mel Gibson, you know Crazy Mel.
heard of him.
Apocalypto is his new movie that's coming out.
Worst title ever.
Yeah, probably going to be the worst movie ever, too. But we'll reserve judgment, of course, because that's what we do. We're very fair on this show. So the trailer's out. It takes place during the decline of the Mayan civilization. It's shot entirely in a Mayan dialect with English subtitles. So if you don't have the Dolby 6.1, you better run out and get it, because this sounds like it's going to be a real winner. When it comes to the old soundtrack.
That's stupid.
But there's something that caught our eye in the trailer. I don't know if you saw it right there. Did you catch it?
No, I did not.
It's hard to see when you watch it full speed. There's a little something. There's a little Gibson Easter egg, if you will. You didn't really
in the trailer.
Yeah, here it is. All right. Apparently Mel's lost his mind. Here's the trailer right here. We've got it up and running. This is the 480p version here. So we're just going to skip ahead. Now I'm doing this frame by frame. Okay, dude jumping out. It's crazy Children of the Corn with flames.
Right, the
dude
torches.
in a net.
We're in trouble.
Okay, something going on there.
Wait,
wait,
what was that?
Hold on, let me. Oh, wait a second. That's Crazy Mel. Crazy Mel
with a flannel shirt.
He's smoking Crazy Mel.
And a gray beard.
He really is insane. He put himself in the trailer, and this isn't a joke. You can download it yourself. There's a single frame of crazy smoking Mel with a very, very sad Mayan. Like, they're happy when he's gone, but not so happy when he's there. He's really there.
That's stupid.
It is a little dumb, but it's there, so enjoy it. From today through Sunday, Las Vegas is hosting the Consumer Electronics Show. It's going to be a good time. Sarah Lane is there.
I'm going to be there.
You're going to be there as well?
Yeah.
And so is our very own Will O'Neill. He's there right now, live. Will, what's going on?
Hey, thanks, Kevin. If you look behind me, you'll see that a frightening combination of nerds, suits, and even suited nerds have descended upon the Las Vegas Convention Center for the International Consumer Electronics Show. As expected, the show floor is packed with new tech toys, gadgets, and the occasional booth babe, as thousands of retailers try to make some noise for their new products. So far, it seems like the theme of this year's show is connectivity. Of course, that's been the theme of the last 5 CES conventions as well. But this time, it looks like your stuff may actually start to work together. At least, Bill Gates seems to think so. We'll hear more from Bill after the break. Kevin, Brendan, back to you.
All right, thanks, Will. We appreciate it. We'll see you in a few minutes, my friend.
Good man.
Very good man.
Because we know you've been confused and lonely the past 2 weeks, we'll be taking your chat questions today.
Don't touch.
No more touching?
No more. I mean, we're on camera now.
Email us through our web form.
That's attackoftheshow.com/askus. And you can chat with us in our IRC chat room as well. Just point your browser to chat.g4tv.com. Are the wheels off this early? Really? Do you want to go there, my friend? Don't give up on us, sirs. Blood Rain star Kristanna Loken will bare her beautiful fangs. Those are fangs. And we'll show you the stuff you wish you got for Christmas direct from CES. Stick around.
Attack of the show, baby. Attack.
The Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas is the world's largest trade event for anything that beeps or has a blinking light on it. It's where we see the new technologies that'll keep us drooling all year long, and our very own gadget junkie, Will O'Neill, is there right now. Will.
Hey, thanks again, Kevin. So CES has just started here in Vegas, and I'm already too hungover to walk. Luckily, I just have to stand still and tell you guys what's happened so far. Bill Gates got things rolling last night with his 10th annual CES keynote. While the focus of the night was definitely on what's happening with Microsoft for the coming year, he started off with a little glimpse into the future.
Consumers are getting more and more connected. I thought I'd start off and show a scenario that we think will be real by the end of the digital decade. So within the next 4 years or so, this will be something we think will actually be realistic. Down here, we've got a little bit of a map, and because everyone in the family has decided that they're willing to share their location with the rest of the family, we can see here on the map where Mom left early. She's headed off to that soccer game. We see the family schedule there, so able to track everybody and know what's going on. Now, of course, instead of using a password, I just use my fingerprint here, so I'm authenticated in a more reliable way. I see a lot of different information here, including that news story that I was tracking. Later that day, I find myself in the airport, and all I've got with me on this particular trip is my phone. And yet I'm very interested in figuring out what's the latest, what's going on. So I can take my phone here, and I just put it down on a table that's here in the airport lounge, and it recognizes it. So now if I want to read mail or browse, that's all there. Actually, what I'm going to do is take a business card that somebody handed me while I was on this flight and just put that down on the table there. Then I can take that and say, okay, go ahead and put that into my contacts. So as I drag it up there, I can see the information being connected up and put down into my phone.
I'm a little scared about that tracking stuff once all my girlfriends get a hold of it, but whatever, Bill. Microsoft also took the press conference as an opportunity to show off its new operating system, Windows Vista. Taking more than a few cues from Apple's OS X and even from the Firefox web browser, it's a major step forward in terms of usability. Microsoft promises a very specific street date of later this year. Of course, the Xbox 360 wouldn't miss out on a party like this, and Corporate Vice President Peter Moore was there with a very interesting announcement regarding a new 360 accessory.
5 years ago, we envisioned the future would include the convergence of high-definition movie, things like games and photos, movies, and of course television. Today, Xbox 360 is delivering on that vision. Tonight, I'm proud to announce that later this year, we will be launching an Xbox 360 external HD DVD drive.
Come on, guys. Shipping an external HD DVD drive like 6 months after the device launches? Couldn't you have just put it in the thing before I bought it? And finally, no Microsoft press conference is complete without Bill Gates doing something at least a little bit goofy. Last night, he took on Steve Ballmer in EA Sports' Fight Night on the Xbox 360. It was ugly. We apologize for both of them. Sony had its own little gathering just this morning. And the big story there was Blu-ray DVD. In the gospel according to Sony chairman Howard Stringer, Blu-ray is the future of DVD. The BDP S1, Sony's first consumer Blu-ray player, launches this summer with support from an array of content providers, some even from outside the Sony camp. Stringer also brought in some Hollywood heavyweights, including Imagine Entertainment's Brian Grazer, Ron Howard, and a little-known actor from Oakland, California.
It's a pleasure to be here with you today, Howard, to be able to to deliver these heartfelt comments off of one of your new extraordinary Sony SXRD high-definition teleprompters.
Tom, what about the box office decline? Does it worry you?
It's always going to come down to content, as you said earlier, that the audience will be pulling content towards them, and I think that any time that there is an up or a down in the final box office figures at the end of the year, it's because the content has been magnificent, the material has been first rate, or it hasn't quite been there. I think as long as these filmmakers, the storytellers in Hollywood do their job to the best of their abilities, box office will always be there. People will always want to go to the movies. I do say, as far as this past year, I must shoulder some of the responsibilities because quite frankly, there was no Tommy Hanks film in the theaters.
Right now, the other guy from Bosom Buddies is watching this and crying. Of course, Sony did take this opportunity to show off a few new products. Sir Howard brings high-definition home video to the great unwashed with the first HD Handycam priced within reach of the average user. And in a nod to the world's oldest entertainment medium, Sony also introduces a portable ebook reader called, yes, the portable ebook reader. Available later this year, the Sony reader will store up to 80 books and cost between $300 and $400. That's a lot of Grishams. That's it for today. I'm going to take some of these little toys back to my room and make sweet gadget love to them. Remember, Kevin, I'm doing it for you.
No, you're definitely not doing it for me, Will. But before you go and get all greased up with your gadgets, I have to ask, HD, DVD, and Blu-ray button heads this year, people are going to want to pick a winner. They're going to have to invest in a tech. Will we know who the winner is by the end of this year, you think?
I don't think that we'll know by the end of this year. It's sort of like the early days of like beta and VHS, when people were sort of had to like choose a camp, and then it took a few years to sort of shake out. Of course, Sony has this huge library of content, so they have a definite advantage as far as that's concerned. But by the end of this year, this Christmas, I don't think you're going to know like a definite winner. But in a couple of years, you will.
All right, we'll be sure to stay tuned, and everybody at home, be sure to check in tomorrow for more from CES. Will, thanks again. Now, we know you've got nothing better to do, but we're going to do you a solid. We're still going to give you a reason to stick around. We've got a healthy dose of alien extermination coming at you in our LAN party, and star of Blood Rain, Kristanna Loken, demonstrates the best way to kill a vampire on Brendan Moran. All that beamed right into your eyeball. Stay tuned.
Our next guest got our attention as the very hot and very naked TX in Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines. Now, she's strapping on the leather and the forearm blades as the title character of the video game adaptation Blood Rain. Welcome to the show, Kristanna.
Thank you. It's Kristanna, actually. But
I butcher everybody's name, so I figured I'd do you the same courtesy.
Well, that opening was so good, but then there was just that one little miss-up at the end.
That's the longest I've gone without screwing up talking in my whole career on television.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
You're doing well. Doing well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you how I was doing. So now, you're, like I said to our viewers at home, are famous for the T3. Do you get stopped on the street as, hey, Terminator chick?
I hardly ever get recognized.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you just being modest now?
No, not at all. I hardly ever get recognized.
Really?
Probably because I don't walk around naked, usually.
Okay.
And I don't walk around in the leather suit.
That's actually, that was my second and third question, so we're going to have to cut this interview short.
Well, not at least in public.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in private, it's a whole different story.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Next question.
Okay. So the movie you're in is Blood Rain. It's based on the video game, obviously. Is it close to the game itself, or did they just take the script and run?
Well, it's a prequel to the game, so we wanted to give it a very 1700s Romanian Transylvania mountains feel. So it's more of an epic kind of tragedy adventure than just, you know, killing and fighting and blood squirting. Although there's lots of that too.
Right. Epic killing and tragedy. You shot it in Romania, right?
Yes.
There's a lot of Hollywood productions that go over there to shoot. Do you enjoy eating goat?
Not particularly, no. That was probably the biggest major complaint about shooting in Romania. We shot there for 2.5 months of nights, and just getting food was a problem. I mean, sometimes we'd run out of food on catering. Yeah.
You'd have to cannibalize each other then, or how
pretty
does that
much
work?
it went to that. You know, you dip into like the private blood set, and you know, kind of take some of that. But no, Romania was the place to shoot this type of film, because all the monasteries and castles and everything that you see in the film are real, and shooting in those, you just really get to feel the energy that's been there through the years. The extras were great. We had this carnival scene, and the carnival people were actually the real gypsy type people. And
do the extras even know that they're in the movie? You know what I mean? Are they just like farm people that you just hopefully they'll not freak out when you turn the camera on?
I think they knew, actually.
Yeah, right. Now, one of your castmates is Michelle Rodriguez from Lost. She's a party girl. She likes to booze. You guys have fun together when you're on set?
We had fun together. We all ended up coming home one animal richer. There were all these stray dogs and cats and everything, and she found my little dog that I have now, Bobby.
What kind?
Romanian pavement special. I mean, who knows? She's like...
Are you sure it's a dog?
Yes, I do know it's a dog. Yes, I've had her spayed, and I watched the process, so I'm sure that...
It's not a little boy, right?
No, it's a girl. Although sometimes that gets confused. People like to call her that.
So, by the way, sorry, Romania. Continue. We're going to get calls.
It was a beautiful country to shoot the film, and it's wonderful that they're trying to become a part of the EU. The infrastructure of the country is still very post-communist, very much like a teenager. It doesn't yet know what it wants to become. It's a country that's been infiltrated by so many different countries through the years that it just needs a little guidance and help. But I think they're getting there, and if you have the youth of Romania stay there and get a strong voice, I think it has a real chance to get into the EU and rise up to that level of standard.
I gotta tell you, I slept through high school and college.
But you didn't sleep through.
No, but I learned more in 20 seconds than in 4 years of college. Now, this is you on the cover of FHM. I noticed that you didn't wear the black paint today to our show. I'm a little disappointed. No.
The latex, black latex.
Oh no, that's latex?
Yeah.
I thought you probably just like stood in a bathroom and somebody just threw black paint all over you. That's not the case.
No, it was a little more strategic than that.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it was dripped on me and then dried with a hairdryer.
I'm impressed. I'm not listening to a word you're saying.
Okay.
You are next in the new movie turned video game Dungeon Siege.
Yes.
And you play a tree nymph? Now, when I hear the word nymph, my mind races. Tell me what's going on.
What does it race towards?
Well, this is a family show.
Oh, okay.
We can't really go into that. But tell me about your character.
Dungeon Siege is a big, sweeping medieval epic. And my character is Alora. She lives in the trees with her band of women and guards the forest.
Oh, so it's one of those.
Yeah, I do. I got to work with Tony Ching, our second unit director. You might remember him from House of Flying Daggers and Hero.
Oh, sure.
All the beautiful lyrical wire work that he's done.
Yeah.
And so we got to do some of that, and I worked with some of the acrobats from Cirque du Soleil. So we did some really, really cool stuff.
There's no joke.
No.
I'm impressed.
Thanks.
Well, thank you very much for being on our show.
Thank you very much.
Blood Rain opens in limited release this Friday. Go see it. Oh yeah, we got more of this. You know it, you love it. You have a slim chance of actually learning something from it. It's The Feat. And fun with Dick and Jane's Gloria Gayura goes on our version of Crossfire, the LAN party. That's all next. Welcome back to Attack of the Show, cable TV's Idiot Circus Boy. Still on the way, our comic book critique, Fresh Ink, plus a visit from Hostel director Eli Roth that actually may be unsuitable for people with heart conditions. After all that, we light a candle and read your chat questions. Now, speaking of things that may be unsuitable, isn't it time for a LAN party? The game is Quake 4, made all pretty like our Rackspace server. And today, we are joined by the very lovely Gloria Gurua, whose name I butchered as well.
It's
I'm
fine.
doing it around the block today. Why don't you tell the people at home what your name is?
Gloria Gariua.
Gariua. Can you write that down?
It's phonetic on here.
It's right on the card, too. That's the worst part. You are with Fun and Dick and Jane.
Fun with Dick and Jane, yeah.
Fun on Dick and Jane.
Yeah, I had fun with Dick and Jane. But it's fun with Dick and Jane.
Tell me, who's your character on Fun without Dick and Jane?
It's Blanca. She is the nanny to Jim and Taya's son, Billy.
Okay.
And the way it was originally done...
Sit in the dirt hole all night long?
Oh, I guess this is you right there.
I was like, who's talking?
So do you play like the stereotypical maid, is that right?
That's what I thought when I first heard about it, but when I read the script, it wasn't like that at all. And I think in the editing, they may have gone in that direction, which was actually hurtful to me, because I didn't play it that way at all.
You know what? Never trust an editor. They'll screw you.
I realize now that editors have all the control. And,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so...
They'll tell you one thing, sweetheart, believe me, and then they'll turn around and they'll do another. You know, that's how Hollywood
What
works.
people need to do is buy the DVD, because then they'll see all the deleted scenes, and they'll see what I actually shot and what it was actually supposed to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will.
Excellent.
How'd you come in? How'd you start working on the project?
Well, I had just moved to LA from New York, and this was my first audition, and I booked it.
Really?
Yeah, I know there's a lot of actors out there hating me right now, but...
So that actually happens?
It does. I guess if you're persistent enough
Wow.
to follow your dream. Yeah, it happened with me.
Wow, good.
Yeah, which was great, because I was struggling, and I was doing a lot of free theater, and
Yeah,
I
right.
hadn't joined the unions yet.
Waitressing, right.
So doing a little bit of that, and
Right.
bartending, and that kind of thing.
What about Jim Carrey?
He's great.
Is he great? Is he? But do you just?
No.
I know I expect you to say he's great and all that. Is he crazy?
He's crazy at times, but he's actually a very quiet person. And he's very
Yeah?
down to earth, and he doesn't really ham it up. The one time I felt that he did was when there was a crowd scene, and I thought, he deserves to ham it up, man. You know, he's well loved. Go for it. But when it was just me, him, and Taya,
Cool dude.
he was just cool, yeah.
What's next? What are you doing next?
We'll see. Pilot season should be busy for me. I've been approached by a director to do a screenplay. I don't want to
Wow.
talk too much about
No,
that.
no, don't tell me
And
anything.
then,
Jinx it.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then there's talks about possibly reprising a role that I did in a Nilo Cruz play that brought me to California in the first place, this time in New York. So
all
we'll
comes
see.
full
It's on
circle.
negotiations right now.
Well, good for you.
Thanks.
Congratulations and thank you for stopping by.
Well, thanks for having me.
Enjoy your gaming.
Oh, I've been killed 18 times.
Don't forget to check out Gloria in Fun with Dick and Jane in theaters as we speak. Now, I got a fever, and the only prescription is the feed.
Like women who sleep with Kevin Federline, comedians still haven't learned that hosting the Academy Awards will leave their confidence shaken and their careers in trouble. The latest lamb to the slaughter following the likes of Chris Rock, Steve Martin, and of course Whoopi Goldberg to block appears to be Daily Show host Jon Stewart. Now, while no official announcement has been made, it seems he's being touted as just the man for the job. While Stewart is obviously hilarious, there's no doubting that, there's just something about the Academy Awards that happens to suck the humor right out of everyone, save Billy Crystal. Meanwhile, Mr. Crystal apparently turned down the gig, citing his busy schedule. You know, the guy's been doing that thing with, yeah, nice try, Billy, really. America's collective creepy uncle Dick Cheney has come out in defense of the government's rampant post-9/11 wiretapping. What were the odds? The vice president stopped grinning long enough to chastise those opposed to the secret eavesdropping operation, saying that they obviously aren't serious about the war on terror. Cheney went on to say, if we had been allowed to listen to phone conversations earlier, hey, we might not have allowed the 9/11 attacks to happen. I mean, the attacks might not have happened. He then threw down a ninja smoke bomb and vanished. He's good. He's good. Now, you can count on America for two things. One, a strong sense of resilience, and two, a willingness to milk horrible tragedy for dollars. That's right. A company called Gray Lines New Orleans has begun offering bus tours of Hurricane Katrina devastated areas. The charge is $35 for adults and $28 for kids. But the emotional trauma? That's priceless, my friends. The company claims that $3 from each ticket sold goes to disaster relief, but listen, I'm sorry. Like, I gotta be honest, $3? That does not excuse you from the unnecessarily flair that you added to the bus tour, guys. Listen, this isn't some backlot tour. Yeah, really. You'll be hearing from Universal Studios lawyers anytime now. That's the feed. Remember to chew before you swallow.
Don't make any hasty decisions. We're talking spandex and violence with fresh ink. And Hostel director Eli Roth bloodies up our couch. Next.
On the next attack of the show, we find out what goes on inside the mind of film director Uwe Boll. Yes, that, Uwe Boll. And we'll have more from the only place in Vegas where guys think about something other than booze, gambling, and hookers. It's the Consumer Electronics Show. And finally, the band Project 86 rocks the paint off the walls of our studio. That's the next attack of the show. It's business casual. Horror writer and director Eli Roth showed that you don't need a hockey mask to make camping scary with Cabin Fever, and now he's going to give you a few more reasons why you should avoid Europe with Hostel. Keep a bucket handy, folks, and watch this clip.
I always wanted to be a surgeon. Can you guess why? A surgeon. He holds the very essence of life in his hands. Your life. He touches it. Oh, no. Please just let me go. Please. You want to go? Is that what you want?
Creepy. Eli, welcome to the show.
Thanks, man.
Thanks
Good
for
to be
coming
here.
on. Congrats on everything. This is
Thank
huge.
you so much. Yeah, no, I'm really, really excited. It's, you know, after Cabin Fever, it's sort of, I wasn't sure what to do with my second film, and I'm really, really happy.
Were you
with how
worried about a
everything's
follow-up? Did you think you
Yeah,
needed a project that would live up to it?
Yeah, I mean, well, I got offered a lot of different studio movies, and you think like, God, you know, should I take one of these $30 or $40 million horror films? Because Cabin Fever we made for $1.5 million. Sure. And then I thought, you know, it was actually Tarantino who encouraged me to go and do another low-budget movie, and it's cool. You know, a lot of these movies like King Kong is $200 million, Narnia is $200 million. Our movie is like $4 million.
Right.
So it's just pretty cool to kind of have a movie out there in theaters, sort of
absolutely
with the big
competing
boys.
for the marquee space.
Yeah,
as well.
it's pretty exciting.
Not bad. Now I'm told that the Hostel is based on a true story or true events.
True events, true-ish events.
Because I went to like there was one time and it was frightening. I went to a Motel 6 and they didn't leave the light on for me. I'm told this takes it to another level though. This is a little
no.
creepier.
This is actually scarier than that.
Wow.
Yeah, it's actually worse.
What are the true? Well, we'll get to the plot. I'm curious. What are the true events though? What is this based
Here's
off?
what it is. Now, you know, it doesn't say that in the film. It will say that in the commercials.
Okay.
And there's a difference. In the film, what happens is, what actually really happened was, I was talking with Harry Knowles from Ain't It Cool News. Right. And Harry, we were talking about disturbing things we'd found on the internet.
Oh, Farmerotica.
Yeah.
Is that, oh no, this is based on something else?
This was just beyond the Japanese girls vomiting into each other's mouths in the bathtub.
Which really, if you haven't, for $5 million, I think you can make an epic.
Yeah, you can make an epic.
Onto a hot plate with a fork. Oh,
but he sent me a link to a website where you could go to Thailand and for $10,000 walk into a room and shoot someone in the head. And the site claimed that...
I was really worried for a second we were going to have to push the button, because the moment you say walk into a room in Thailand...
No. Yeah, then the hand goes on the button. No, I can clean it up.
All right, so you can shoot somebody, pay to kill somebody.
Yeah, and they said that the person you were paying to kill had volunteered for this, and that part of the money would go to their family.
See, I buy that. I think that could actually exist.
Well, we talked about it, and we said, could this exist? You know, and I wanted to maybe do a documentary on it, but it got to the point where you had to enter credit card information to find out more. And I thought, well, if it does exist, and these people really do kill people for a living, then they wouldn't think twice about killing me.
Sure.
So, as I'm sure many viewers at home wouldn't. And so, but then I thought, you know what, it doesn't matter if it's real or not. What matters is that somebody conceived that out there, there's some businessman that's so bored with hookers and drugs that they're looking for that next level of excitement.
My hand's raised already.
Hello. But they're looking for hookers and drugs and simulation, and they would do that, and that I thought was real. I think there are people out there that money kind of means nothing to them.
Well,
anymore.
sure, they've got so much of it. Bill Gates would
Yeah.
pop a cap in anybody in Thailand. Just
Yeah,
for
I
kicks.
think so.
I've seen him do it.
Yeah,
actually.
he would. Yeah, well, he'd do it here.
He would do it on this set because he
Yeah.
can get away with it. He can afford it. But this isn't about. Is this about paying to kill somebody in Thailand?
Well, it's not in Thailand.
What's the premise of Hostel?
The Hostel's about Americans that are backpacking through Europe. They've gone there looking for excitement. They want the European drugs. They want the European women.
Yes.
And they hear about this hostel in Slovakia,
Okay.
which is rumored to be filled with beautiful girls that love Americans. And so they kind of acting on this tip, they go to this hostel, and it's true. It's filled with beautiful girls, and everybody hooks up. And it's all good until one of the friends disappears. And they don't know where he's gone, and there's no trace of him, and they start looking into it, and it gets creepier and creepier and more disturbing until they realize that it's basically, they've sort of fallen victim into the system that was based on that website I saw in Thailand, and it just turns into this descent into hell. It's this horrible nightmare. So it doesn't start off scary. It starts off all fun and happy, and it's this slow burn.
PG-13?
No, it starts off R. It starts off Last American Virgin.
I'm told it's very R.
Yeah, I think it has the most sex and violence combined into one film since
That is
maybe
good. That is
Caligula.
anybody?
I don't know.
Come on.
But then it's really the last 20 or 30 minutes that's just a non-stop bloodbath.
That is good to hear. Now, what's Quentin's involvement then? Because I'm told you said that he's kind of
presenting the
encouraged
film.
you to do it.
Yeah. I mean,
does he come out before each show in a top hat and a cane and do a little dance and say, "Here you go"? Maybe a little aristocrats joke or
yeah.
How is Quentin?
We actually have an animated Quentin that does it in a logo.
A little flash version.
No, Quentin. He really loved Cabin Fever and was a big supporter of mine, and it was really helpful having someone who's your hero, support you that way. And
I wouldn't know what that's like at all.
Well, I didn't know either until he called me up and was like, "Hey, want to come to my house and watch War of the Gargantuas?" And you're like, "Yeah." So you sit there and you're geeking out and you're like, "Oh my God, there's Quentin Tarantino and there's War of the Gargantuas." And he's like, we just sort of struck up this weird friendship of watching movies together. And I was talking. I was like, "I don't know what to do next. What do you think? Should I do this or that?"
Sure.
And I told him the idea for Hostel. And he was like, "That is the sickest idea I've ever heard from him." He's like, "You've got to do that. You've got to do that." Right. And so I was going to go home and make it for $3 million. I have a horror company called Raw Nerve with the directors Boaz Keane, who did Remember the Titans and Fresh, and Scott Spiegel, who wrote Evil Dead 2 and directed Dusk Till Dawn 2. We were going to do it for like $3 million. And I'd been talking about the idea with these producers, Mike Fleiss and Chris Briggs, and I sort of showed everyone. I just burned out the script. I was like, "What do you guys think?" And they were all like, "Oh, it's great," and they had ideas, and I wrote it. And then I showed Quentin, and he's like, "This is so sick. This could be." Yeah. He's like, "Do this low budget. Make it as sick as you can make it." And
don't let a
this
studio
could be,
put their finger
He's
in
like,
your
"I would
porridge
finance
and
this
stir it on."
myself if you didn't have the money already." He's like, "This could be a classic American horror film." He's like, "I'd love to make it a Quentin Tarantino Presents." So we talked about it. I went and I shot the film, and after, we saw it, and he was really helpful in the editing. And, we said, "You know what, you've been basically functioning as an executive producer." So he came on as an executive producer as well as Quentin Tarantino Presents.
Right.
I mean, what he does is it helps sort of raise the profile of the movie.
Well, of course.
And it's also when you're making a movie, it's an abstract idea in your head, and you just have to believe you're right about everything. But you have to surround yourself with people that are smart enough to know when you're going off track and to tell you when they think something's a bad idea.
Sure.
People you really trust. Like, you don't want people second guessing you, but you want someone going like, "Okay, Eli, I know what you're trying to do in this scene, but I think, what if you tried it like this or this or that?" And you're like, "Oh yeah, that's cool." Like, you need really strong people like that around.
That aren't just in it for themselves, especially.
No, exactly. Nobody. I mean, I took less of a salary on Hostel than I did on Cabin Fever. I mean, everybody did it for like.
I have a feeling it's going to pay off in the end, though, Eli.
Well, let's hope so. I mean, I know at the first screening we had 2 ambulance calls. At Toronto Film Festival, I swear to God, I'm not.
Also, were you screening in Harlem? Because that happens. That happens often.
No, it's different. It was not like a Boys
It happened in How Stella Got Her Groove Back, actually. The man next to me got shanked.
This was actually, this was an honest goodness, medical emergency where, a fear-induced.
I love that you're proud of this, too.
It's great. Well, some guy walked out of the theater halfway through. He was so disturbed, he fainted and fell down the escalator. And they called an ambulance and paramedics.
And did you kick him while he was down?
Well, no, I was in the theater. And 10 minutes later, a woman was having a heart attack. So, comes out of the theater and she tells the film festival volunteer she's having a heart attack, and then called an ambulance. So I got out of the theater and I got swarmed by the volunteers. They're like, "You missed it. There was this guy, he fainted, and there were paramedics, and then they called another ambulance." I was like, "Jesus, are they all right?" And everyone said, "Yeah, they're fine." I was like, "Damn it! We could have had 2 deaths in our first movie."
Think of the publicity, man.
Awesome.
That's front page of Drudge. Easy.
I know, but I was really excited. But then I was like, "Oh wait, they're Canadian, so I don't know if you know. It doesn't really count at all."
It doesn't. No,
it's like 1/3 of a Detroit ambulance.
It's like a dog on the street. Just kick it, move on.
Well, no, they're such nothing. They got scared of Emily Rose,
Eli, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're
My
excited about
pleasure.
the film,
Oh, I'm
and I
very
know that they're all
excited.
excited as well, and they should all go see it.
Yeah, it's a good
immediately.
date movie because this is the movie where, like, if you bring a guy or a girl, you're gonna hold their hand, you're gonna be giving each other a lap dance by the end of the film because you'll be squeezing each other.
There we have it. Hostel hits theaters tomorrow. Angry Letters from Slovakia hits Eli's mailbox on Saturday, so watch out for that. The show has been ordered to return after this break, and that actually gives us a chance to answer your chat questions. And also gives us a chance to check in with our comic book expert, Blair Butler. That's all coming up next. Hey, kids! Do you like Star Trek? Yeah. I know, that was actually a really dumb question, sorry. Well, this Sunday, Star Trek The Next Generation arrives on G4 with a special 8-hour marathon starting at 7 p.m. Star Trek will then beam into its regular G4 time slot, which is every day at 8 and 9 p.m., and it is closed captioned. Darn! It's closed captioned for the Klingon impaired. My apologies to the 4 writers that worked on that one, I'm sorry. Now, eviscerated heroes and superpowered sluttery. It can only be fresh ink. It's closed captioned. Blair, good to see you.
Nice to see you too,
Welcome
Kevin.
to 06.
I know, I'm back.
It's good to have you here.
Yeah.
And I'm told that comics are going to exist in this new year.
Yes, they're coming out today because of a little delay because of the holidays. So we're actually checking out a couple that we missed over the break that are completely worth seeing.
All right, well, let's do that. What do we have?
All right.
Oh, wait. The first one, this is the first time, admittedly, that I got really excited over a comic book. You were here, you were talking about it.
Yes.
Ultimate Wolverine versus Hulk.
Right, because it comes to us from one of the co-creators of Lost,
Lost,
Damon
yes.
Lindelof. So this is huge. I mean, the Hulk and Wolverine go back. A lot of people that aren't like big comic nerds don't realize Wolverine's first appearance was in The Incredible Hulk 180 and 181. So they have a history, and it's really great because one of the things I love about Marvel's Ultimate line, and I've said this before, it's like the HBO version of Marvel's superheroes.
Right.
And the thing that they acknowledge is that Wolverine and the Hulk have always been the rage-driven heroes, almost anti-heroes at times in the Marvel universe.
And Hulk is apparently quite the ladies' man.
Right, and
the women leg it a little large and green sometimes.
Exactly, and this is one of the things I love about this series. It acknowledges that the Hulk it's not just rage that he takes to an extreme. He's a horny bastard. I don't know if I can say that.
Yeah,
but
you just did.
I did. I really like this title. It's worth it just for the second page.
Yeah, which we didn't show, and I'm glad we didn't. At first, I was waiting to see it. I'm not going to spoil it too much. But it is worth it for that second.
For every comics fan that's been like, now why didn't a villain do that to Wolverine all these years ago? You've got your answer. So
exactly. So okay, is this a buy, a browse, or a burn? What are we doing with this?
I say buy. I think it's a great comic. It's great for the Lost fans, and it's worth it for the ridiculous violence.
Yes, which we appreciate, and it sets up the story too at some point.
Yes, exactly.
All right, moving on to Ultimate Fantastic Four,
right?
Which you apparently said ignore the speech bubbles entirely,
right?
And soak this one up for all the ink loving.
Right. It's basically by Mark Millar and Greg Land. Mark Millar's writing it. I like him. He's a great writer. He's fantastic.
What's going on there?
But I do not like the Fantastic Four. This is something about me. To me, of all the Marvel heroes, they've just been kind of meh. Right. Greg Land's art is incredible. Look at that. I mean, that's gorgeous. This guy does photorealistic stuff. It's beautiful. A lot of people, he has a lot of critics, people who say, it's too photorealistic, or all the women that he draws kind of look similar.
Right.
I don't care. I think this is beautiful. It's the kind of it's so rare for me. I'm like very author oriented to open a comic and go, I want this for the art.
For the art alone.
And it brings back. I will say in Millar's to credit to him, he brings back the Submariner as a villain.
Right.
And he is a sexy Submariner.
He is, and he's defeated by that whore Susan.
He sure is.
Not the best way to go down, really. It's not in a flaming ball of glory. It's not from machine
Susan
guns.
Storm.
It's because there's a woman that's a giant slut.
There is. Well, she's an invisible slut, so you know.
Fair enough. As long as you can't see the cold sores.
She's actually, she has to cheat on Reed to win. But
is this a buy, a browse, or a burn, though? Because for the artwork alone, does that save it?
The artwork alone, for me, saves it. I say buy it, and also buy it for that, as the Bostonians would say, the wicked hot Submariner.
Wicked hot Submariner.
He's looking like
you
a
could frame
supermodel.
each page.
He has a faux hawk.
Finally, well, you can't go wrong with that, clearly. The women flock.
The ladies like
All-Star Batman and Robin.
Yes.
Didn't even bother opening it up myself. Did you go through the time and trouble of actually reading this
Let
pile
me
of
tell
crap?
you why every comics nerd out there bought this. Jim Lee, Frank Miller. We're talking about Frank Miller, the guy who made Batman cool again with The Dark Knight Returns. Jim Lee, whose art is really renowned.
Superstar in the art world.
Superstar. Together, it's a marriage made in hell.
Yes, it is.
This is, to me, this is the biggest disappointment of the year. It's shocking. It's DC trying to do what Marvel's doing with the Ultimate line.
Batman's got 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah.
Come on. They added
you know
something.
What? 5 o'clock shadow isn't enough. This is so depressing. The dialogue, I mean, Frank Miller's incredible. I love the man. This is not good.
Wow.
It's I'm stuttering because I'm so passionate about this, but
You should break something. Do we have anything that Blair can break?
I can shred the paper. You know, it's the art is completely it's really cartoony and it doesn't fit with this noir. It's like noir taken to the 10th degree dialogue, and to me this is a huge disappointment, whereas All-Star Superman for me is a home run. So
buy is out the window. I've established that
Yeah.
from the anger that is
Yes.
permeating from you. Browse or burn? What are we doing with this bad boy?
not to go all Fahrenheit on you, but burn.
Oh!
Burn. Yes.
Send it ablaze, my friends.
Destroy literature.
All-Star
kids.
Batman and Robin. Not so amazing.
It makes one tear roll down my face like a Native American looking at garbage.
That's a sad, sad Indian
It
looking
is.
at the trash. Blair, thank you so much for coming
Take
on.
care.
We'll get to the new comics next week. As usual, be sure to check out our show notes for more on these comics. Now, you took the time to write them, so we'll find the time to read them. That's our promise to you. Your email and chat questions are coming up after the break. Stay tuned.
Attack of the show, baby. Attack.
Listen, I know the holiday break wreaked serious havoc with your memory, so I'm going to do you a favor. I'm going to remind you that you can get even more Attack of the Show via our podcast. All the cool kids are doing it. It's on attackoftheshow.com, or of course you can check the iTunes podcast directory. It's there. I promise. I wouldn't lie, Brendan.
I've seen it.
It is there. It exists in some form, in a clickable form. Let's get to your IRC chat questions. Double up. Yeah.
Okay. Ageless Stranger asks, what did the hosts make as their New Year's resolutions?
I resolved to not make a resolution this year because I didn't live up to any of them last year whatsoever.
I'm gonna finally write the great American novel.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got it in me. This is the year.
I've been saying that all along, buddy.
Yeah, you know, the key is you just gotta keep at it, Kevin, even though everybody tells you you have no talent.
At least a word a day, my friend.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody. Thanks to our guests Eli Roth, Christiana Loken, Gloria Garriua, and Blair Butler.
This guy.
Was that?
This guy.
Attack of the Show wardrobe provided by Jinx.com.